Professor Dr. Satish Ubale, sir. Our guest of honor, Mr. Rahul Joshi, faculties of Matrix, APIMR, and the students of Matrix School of Management Studies and APIMR. Dear students, Matrix believes in leveraging the management competencies amongst the MBA graduates for business and industry and expanding their horizon with updated information in the field of management. In continuation with this philosophy, our Honorable Director, Professor Dr. Satish Ubale sir, has initiated Fourth Dimension lecture series, where we invite renowned experts from different fields of academics and industry who share their experience with our students, which help them to improve their knowledge and employability skills. Our today's guest of honor is Mr. Rahul Joshi. Sir has done mechanical engineering and is having a passion towards marketing and sales. He is having more than 20 years of experience in the field of marketing, sales, business development, strategy, distributor network in defense, railways, steel, oil and gas, and power. His last corporate role was India head at an US multinational corporation. Sir has founded SMJ Consultants in the year 2016. Mr. Joshi has handled sales and marketing projects, built distribution networks, executed strategies, expanded business in new territories for clients in South, North, and East India. Sir has worked in uncharted territories for government verticals in public sector units like BECIL, ITI, TCIL, and CRIS. Sir is also working as director at Pune Management Association, handling industry academia initiatives across 40 colleges. His upcoming initiatives are starting corporate relation initiatives at Pune Management Association. Mr. Rahul Joshi is also mentor at Atal Incubation Center. Dear participants, please welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Rahul Joshi, for today's online session on overview of marketing and sales. Thank you. Over to you. Welcome, Rahul sir, and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful introduction.
Thanks a lot, sir. Our pleasure.
So, sometimes at Saturday mornings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rahul, sir, you are not audible. Rahul, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Because there was a signal loss in between.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I would like to address the students just by starting off with one small example of theory, which I personally believe in. So, first of all, thank you, Anand sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Director sir, for where I can, or maybe people like me can come and have a word with the students, because it is very important for. Thank you, Anand. And good morning, students. Sir has given me a big introduction of mine, but I would just like important or why overview of marketing and sales is something that I have considered. We have gone through various ages of the business and it has come of age. We call businesses, startups, entrepreneurs, and multiple different things. But you have to understand one small thing, that any business, the ground rules have never changed. Every time, if you look at any businesses, the concepts, the basics have still remained the same. Those have never changed. And that is something that people have to take into consideration all the time. So when we talk of marketing and sales, things have never changed in marketing and sales. Sale is purely a transaction that happens. You get some money in the return of goods and services that you are giving, right? This is exactly what a sales journey is, and marketing is prerequisite to sales. We talk of various activities with regards to digital marketing and advertising and a lot of different stuff that we are catering to. But just remember, the basics just do not change. And that's why it is very important for you to understand that in spite of world going from real life to virtual life, from digital to AI to ML, you still need to know the basics, because unless and until the basics are clear, you won't be able to come up with any new idea for your business. Just to give you one small example, you can use the chat box if you want. How many of you follow cricket? Just randomly put your answers on chat box. Why, if you are using. So, how many of you love cricket or follow cricket? Anyone? Hello. So I can see only one answer coming up. Anyways, I don't want to waste my time over there. If you are an artist, if you are into sports, if you are into music, or if you are into any fund that is involved, then remember one thing. What happens is the basics do not change. Let's say cricket or musical instrument. You are being taught the rules of six balls in an over, two batsmen, ball, bat, cricket. That's exactly how it works. What is important is what kind of an innovation new bowler brings to the crease. What kind of an innovation the batsman brings to the crease. And suddenly you find some Rishabh Pant, some Surya Kumar, some David Warner, succeeding in all formats. Similarly, a musician, Saragamapa do not change. What actually changes is what new music forms can he bring to the table. And that's what is very, very important. So in business, in management, what you are learning as of now, the rules will never change. The rules will still remain the same. You have to bring revenue, you have to bring in new work, you have to bring in satisfaction. But for that, you need to understand the basics. I hope I am making some ideologies clear to you that why this kind of basics are important. If you do not understand ABCD, you cannot make a word. If you can make a word, go for this. If you can writing poems, if you can make poems, then the artist inside you comes out. But learning of the words is very, very important, or alphabets. Do not miss out ever on those aspects. You might be taught some new strategies, but the basics will still remain the same. So, sir, if possible, can we start the slideshow now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a request, sir. We will have a photo session, sir, and then we
Okay.
can start with the session, sir. So I request all the
Okay.
participants, so please switch on your cameras. Sir, could you please switch on your camera so that we can have a photograph with you, sir? Yes, all the participants are requested to switch on their cameras. Please do it fast so that we can have a group photograph with sir. Students, please switch on your camera fast. Divya Daswadkar, Vishal Singh Bias, Payal Oswal, Akanksha, Pooja Pipada, Pranjal Muthe, please switch on your camera fast. Do it fast. We can click a photograph and immediately we can start with the session. Done. Just a moment, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. It is done. Yes, sir. Over to you, Rahul, sir. We will upload the PPTs also, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please.
So today's topic is overview to marketing and sales. And I believe that you had some prior sessions to this concepts. But I have decided to make this as simple and interactive for you to understand so that you get a fair however you want to do and how sales and marketing is also useful into your day-to-day life. So just hold on, sir. Just hold on. Yeah. So can anybody identify the left photograph or what exactly that is talking about? About the photograph on the left, anything on the chat box is good enough. Anything, any idea what that photograph on the left side means? Or look at the right side one and now combinedly give me the answer. Any thoughts? Okay, so the left side person is actually the marketing person. The right side person is the salesperson. No, the left side person is pure marketing. The right side is selling. Looks very simple, looks very crude, looks very basics of the points that he is covering. Okay, and I'll come back to those points later. Right now, sir, we'll go to the next slide and try to give you some basics of how this works and why this photograph was important. Next slide, please, sir. Sir, next slide. Marketing in basic terms is informing the potential customers about your product or services. If you look at the way the marketing works, it is only giving the information. This information can be direct, mouth to mouth, different kinds of advertising that you see TV screens, even buses, auto rickshaws, any forms of hoardings that you see outside, digital, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, networking. Networking, something that you need to understand. Networking is when networking forums, there are multiple conferences organized inside your colleges or different colleges. People have been called in for different conferences and other ways. Other ways is something that we will take 1 minute, but prior to that, let me just give you the background about that photograph that you saw. The person was supposed to be giving information of the fruits that he's selling. What he's doing, he's shouting the name of the fruit. He's also giving you the cost. He's also making sure that the product is visible to you. And secondly, he's also standing at an enough distance so that if there is some curiosity in the way, you stop your vehicle. This looks raw, this looks crude. You might be feeling that this is not the correct example, but understand this. It is a pure direct form of selling, and he is selecting those kind of highways, those kind of spots where the person has got enough time to use it. Not pure highways. Again, I am saying just understand the logics behind it. That whatever points he is covering, why that to identify, or you can identify any kind of a marketing and sales activity around you and try to figure out what are the good things and bad things about what the person is doing. Or if succeeded, what is the reason behind the success? If he has failed, what is the reason? Or if any improvements can be made, what improvements can be made? You can walk through any shop, you walk through any kind of a mentor like this, just try to figure out inside your own mind or just a group discussion between your friends Now in this marketing, I have tried to give you direct, which is the pure form of marketing, informing about your product and services to the other person, advertising, digital, networking, all these things. There are in every form of content the exact information about your product. Some curiosity has to be generated about why the customer should look up to you. He's got a lot of choices, but he can still look up to you, and that is where the marketing brings to the picture. You have to create channels where a person looks up to you. Take for example, everybody now has a Facebook or a LinkedIn profile. You must be posting some content about Diwali, Dashera, your personal achievements, anything. What makes that content special that somebody stops at your post and doesn't go scrolling down and gives you a like form of marketing? You are marketing yourself on social media. So don't just think that marketing is only for the product. You start thinking about those aspects now once you're creating your profile. How can you create your profile in a different way? Do not use chat GPT. That is a separate topic. But how can you make it more effective? What things can you talk special about you? That is also a form of marketing. Like advertisements come and go. Your profile, if somebody has to stop, what extra can you do? This is where the whole journey ends up. Now we are talking about here different ways. The most prominent way is networking. Is the weapon that I have always felt that gives a lot of confidence to people. If you are into sales and marketing, or if you are posting sales and marketing, do not miss any kind of a networking opportunities. If the college asks you to go to any conference and inside our campus, you get information of different places where meetup groups are meeting and they are going to be having some discussion. This is the best way to talk about yourself, market yourself, actually discuss your ideas, learn about icebreakers. This is the exact idea of how to clear out any kind of a, what you can say, soft skills or whatever you have learned so far. It is very important for boosting because it is simple passing of information, which is the basis of marketing. So do not miss on this particular opportunity. And remember, marketing is only about giving the information about your product. How you give it, there are multiple channels. The last channel I have mentioned is other ways. Now, this is where different scenarios come into the picture. Everybody talks about the startup world, how the startup journey and how people are coming and going and different funding options and series A, series B. Here, the other ways is something that right now I am pushing my clients to use. Other ways are a very good form of your marketing because they can talk to their people that where they are supplying and what kind of your support structures in terms of your employees, your associate partners, people who have funded you, people who are your can be utilized for marketing. 20 years back, 30 years back, this channel never existed. The was not there. So even if your vendor could be a big time supplier to PepsiCo, Tata Motors, or maybe the Rolls Royce of the world, that I am doing this, or we are developing a new product which is good for the market, or nobody can tag him. Now he can tag you, you can tag. You can come into the picture, and trust me, this kind of a marketing really works. But remember one thing, we are only passing on the information. We are only creating a content. That's what we are talking about. How this has to be used, or where this has to be used, when this has to be used. Also, the timing is very, very critical. That we will cover up in the next slides. Any doubt on this? Any doubts, please ask me. Anybody has any questions, any doubts, any queries, something, some point that you have not understood? Anyone? Okay, sir, we'll go to the next one. Sale is pure exchange of money against delivery of goods and services. As the definition says, there's absolutely nothing different that you have to understand on this particular aspect. You are selling something, it could be like a direct, it could be through channel partners, which are dealers, retailers in kinds of FMCG products, digital in terms of e-commerce, D2C and other, and agents of selling, which are selling some kind of a different things out there in the market, which will be some kind of a government stuff, some kind of a government agents that are uh, legal work where you are buying some stamp papers or anything, or even RTO agents who are supporting you with various documentation. The product services and return of money, that's the only form of sales that is available, and that's the only definition of sales. The important part is marketing to the correct. I am going to cover in the next. People talk of sales, 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 but sales is only a transaction. There's nothing more to sales. If you are convinced, you are going to buy that thing as clear cut as possible. You go to a mall, you decide on something. Clearing the bill is the most easiest part. Selection of the product is a difficult part. If you are going to a shopping mall, there are 100. More attractive is the marketing that he has done. What kind of a hoardings, what kind of a structures he has kept outside, what kind of a demonstration manicurines they are standing over. That is important. Select something, anybody can do the billing process. The sales part is very simple. What is difficult is the marketing. What is difficult is catching the eye. What is getting eyeballs in the limited time. And that is where marketing plays a bigger role. Sales is a byproduct. Sales automatically happens, and it is always easier to handle the sales once the marketing is right up to the mark. But selling is easy. Selling is not difficult. If the marketing is wrong, selling is very difficult. But if the marketing is good, I can give you hundreds of examples. Or if any particular case that is coming to your mind, just raise your hand, put anything on the chat box. It's absolutely no problem. But trust me on one thing, if anybody tells you sales is difficult because convincing is difficult because marketing failed. Sales is difficult because the price was on the higher side and you did not get the correct product in your hand. Sales is difficult when the quality is not good. But these are external factors. These are not the process driven factors for that particular salesperson. These are external factors, quality and different aspects. What is important is the marketing which is driving the sales. Any questions on this? So how many of you like going to the shopping mall? Just say why. Just on chat box. There are no marks for correct answers. There are no negative marks for any wrong answers. Anyone? So any questions on that mall example that I gave? Catching the eyeballs. Okay, sir, we go to the next slide. So we are talking here about the process that is involved. This is not something which is exactly same for all the cases. Neither this is something which is the exact order that is mentioned. Also, this is here for giving you a fair idea of how the system works. So, like I told you, there is a marketing activity, there is a product or a via digital media, via advertisements, via direct communication, via networking, or spreading the word via your people like vendors or employees, and you start getting some inquiries, getting some leads. That's why I have written the word lead. We are standing on this position when the product or service is being defined and somebody has shown some interest to your, or is interested inside your company, or maybe a shopping mall, or maybe if you're doing an internship, you are asked to meet people and they are ready to listen to you. This is where the journey starts of talking to a person, where filtering, preparation, approach, quotation, negotiation, orders, and payment. This now because you are still in your learning age, but I have just listed down the processes for you to understand that we start to clients, they started to come back to us, or maybe they have shown some interest that, okay, tell me more. How should we go ahead with this? Give some more details about the client. This particular approach is being followed. This may not be inside your curriculum as of now, but you all process like shopping mall, your father buying something, you buying anything while coming here, joining a there are 10 different options in front of you, or say 10 different options appeared in front of you. To start actually is good based on some criteria, and after that criteria is fulfilled, you go to the next step. This is where the discussion starts. This is where the approach starts. So don't go by the that whatever information was passed on, somebody has shown the interest and it has come back to you. As simple case. Sir, can we go to the next one, please? I have mentioned here lost start. There is a reason why I called this as a lost art, cold calling. How many of you have ever heard the term cold call? I'm just waiting on the chat box. Cold calling, this term. How many of you have heard? Don't go by the Google. Don't go by the Google images. Do not use any kind of a structures, or if you ever used it, don't reply based on that. Just reply, okay. Shrutika has replied. Anyone else? Just say yes or no. Nobody is holding you responsible for any of your answers. Just want to hear you out. Okay. So cold calling is a case where you have to talk to that person, a new person, a stranger altogether in your case. There is no individual person, and you have to make sure that you discuss everything with that person, get his or her attention, and do the marketing or the selling part to him. This is what cold calling is all about. 20 years back, when there was no social media, cold calling was a hit. People were given product and services. They used to go to different sites, customer locations, and directly start discussing with them. When I am saying this, I am talking of multinational companies. I am talking of big corporate giants from India, including Reliance, Tatas, and Birlas of the world. So do not imagine any salesman selling agarbatti in front of you. That is also going going to a defense vertical, also cold calling, going to Zilla Parishad or even Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Power is also cold calling. This all was done 20, 30 years back only by cold calling. We have a product, we want to sell this to this particular entity, let's go directly and discuss. Why this is important? I tell you. You may not find the correct person for your work. You may not find any kind of references of that person from your friend. Let's say you have one particular product, maybe a software. In today's world, you might get a job in a software. The company says, we want to sell this to telecom industry. We want to sell this to colleges. Some of you familiar with the colleges will say, okay, fine, we want to sell this to the college. The college given to you is DY Patil. You want to sell something to DY Patil. You don't know the contact person in DY Patil. You don't know exactly how to approach that person. One of the common means, try to figure out that person with your local contacts. That is what direct is. Not possible. Okay, second, check that person on his website, any name, number. That option is ruled out, or somebody is not picking up the phone, or you don't know who is the right person to pitch your product. You know the person mobile number or any landline number in DY Patil, but this software, who takes the decision of buying this software, you don't know. Thirdly, figure it out on LinkedIn. Who is the procurement head? Send him a message. These are the channels used now. Or lastly, cold calling. Directly hit the college, talk to that person, talk to the admin authorities over there. We have this software in our hand. We want to pitch it to your college. I need to talk somebody from the IT department or the procurement department. In this case, this is called as cold calling. This is lost art now because people are relying on the references. But if you go with a reference, the whole, if I'm talking to all the people of my age have learned marketing or sales, is because they have done cold calling directly. Cold calling requires a lot of information about your product. Nobody gives you a chance. Take 2 minutes. You might be hearing this word elevator pitch and different stuff. But cold calling, trust me, you get an internship, you get a chance to sell best of the product, maybe to, let's say example, to Tata Motors, or you are given an assignment to go to telecom industry or power industry or some like big time company. But if you are not comfortable with cold calling, you will always fail. The reason is cold calling requires you to study your product very seriously. The other person doesn't know you, so he is going to give you hardly 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, and he will tell you, मुझे मला 5 मिनिटात सांगा, मुझे 5 मिनट में समझाओ आप क्या बेचना चाहते हो, क्या बात करना चाहते हो. मुझे आपकी बात अच्छी लगी तो मैं आगे बढ़ूंगा, बात अच्छी नहीं लगी हम यहीं रुक जाएंगे, हम आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे. Those 5 minutes are very crucial. Those 5 minutes actually decide everything. Today is the world of startups. Today is the world of fast era. Today is the world where people are running after the things. If you are thinking of a startup, you are thinking of a new journey. If you are thinking of joining a startup, it's a new journey. If you're comfortable with cold calling, if you're comfortable with talking to people, discussing with them, talking about your stuff in the shortest possible manner and giving them a fair idea of who you are, and that too combined with very good communication skills and confidence that always been discussed inside colleges about email etiquettes and professional etiquettes and communication. Trust me, there is no stopping for you in this world. But this is lost now, slightly lost because people don't believe in this anymore, the power of this. I did it 20 years back. Today I can talk to anyone. You do it now, tomorrow you will never fail. If you have any doubt in this, just imagine the last time you talked to a stranger. What was the discussion all about? Just try to recall any kind of an information that was supposed to be passed to a stranger and what was the outcome. What happens when you talk to your professors? What happens once you enter the college for the first day? What happens when you go for an internship? All this are new things. People are strange to you, strangers to you. They are not known to you. At that particular case, if you start utilizing this, learning more about yourself, talking about, you are being asked this question many a times. Tell us something about yourself. Give us a fair bit of an idea. That is also information passing. That is talking about you. That's why I've referred this cold calling to be discussed here, because you have to understand that in marketing, it is very important that in faster digital era, you are stopping on an advertising hoarding for 2 minutes. Time is important. You are browsing through websites. Time is important. You get a very short span where you get eyeballs. Any advertisement that flashes over TV screen, any advertisement that flashes over YouTube, it cannot be there for 5 minutes. Very short period. Similarly, when people are giving you appointments, people are meeting you, very short time. very short time. How fast you can convince them, how much information you can pass on is your skill. That is where the creativity and everything comes into the picture that we talked about. That it is only information passing, but how much, how fast, how concise you can pass it. This may not sound very easy to you, or you might be thinking whether this is useful or not. Just go back after this session tomorrow, day after tomorrow, week, month. Think about this. Try to do this. Take internships where it is pure cold calling because it's not your job. Internship will be only for 2 months or maybe 1 month. It is very important that during internship, go for cold calling, go for meeting strangers. Just understand what happens, how you have to be presentable, how they have to have the confidence inside you. And that will go a very long journey inside your life. Trust me, once you do this, marketing or sales, expert in that, tomorrow you want to start your own journey into the startup world, you can start because you are in a position to sell anything. You are in a position to talk to different people. You are in a position to listen to them, to talk about yourself, give them information, and make them stop with you for some time. Any questions on this one? Because this is my favorite topic. This is something that has yielded me success, and this has actually given a lot of success to my clients also. So anything that has to be discussed, anybody has question, anybody wants to even try this out, just let me know. Talk to your sir that okay, we have not done cold calling, but we want to try this. Just let me know. This is the biggest asset ever created. Any questions on this one? Boys and girls, please talk to me. Anything on the chat box? Okay, sir, we go to the next one. Sir, we'll go to the next one because I don't want to spend time on this one. Yeah. Uh, this is what I would like to take 1 minute over here, and we can go to the last point where I will be having two case studies for discussion with you. Negotiation is something that we always do in our life, just like marketing and sales, but we fail to understand the points that we miss out on. We always feel negotiation is what happens with the vegetable vendors that we have seen our mothers, with some kind of a buying of parts that we have seen with our father doing some kind of a negotiation. We do this negotiation even on discount deals and various things where we pass on maybe like 30-40% of discount that we are expecting. Negotiation in industrial sales or any kind of an activity once you are into marketing and sales is not about just this. Negotiation starts with the quality of the product that you are creating inside the minds of the customer. Again, going back to the discussion of marketing. How many of you have ever tried to negotiate on a mobile phone, iPhone, Samsung? How many times have you ever tried to negotiate with the shop that mobile be 1 lakh, but it should be 70, 80,000? Or maybe a motorcycle should not be 1.5 lakhs, but it should be just 20,000. How many of you have ever done that? It's not possible. It's not possible. They have created inside your mind. They have created that persona inside your mind. They have created that kind of a structure where you actually sometimes feel scared to negotiate. What happens inside a mall? In mall, we are ready to pay for any kind of things, but we are not ready to pay. We try to negotiate with the smaller vendors because that's what the persona is. That's why always, if you see, a lot of companies do a lot of stuff on digital, lot of stuff on the way they present their things, the way it is being marketed. If the persona is on the higher side, people are scared to negotiate. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of life. You ask X amount from your father, he gives you 10 reasons why the X amount should not be given to you. And you give him another 20 reasons why you need the money desperately. That is negotiation. You ask for a fancy dress, a motorcycle, some kind of additional stuffs for your day-to-day activities from your parents. There is a discussion that happens. That is negotiation. That is clear cut. That why this has to be done, how this has to be done. Why you give him 10 points, why it is good for you as of now. That is marketing. The other person denies buying that particular thing, sitting as a purchase officer, because telling you why this has not to be brought. We do daily inside our life. The only thing is you have to realize that you have to identify that. And once the confidence has been built, you can sell anything, whatever you want. So next one. We'll skip this, sir, because this is not relevant for students as of now. I'll try to cover here a few things that I do with all my startups. That in marketing or sales, this is a common phenomenon that when somebody is recommending you, you normally tend to ask the other person, भाई ये product नया है क्या? ये market में नया आया है क्या? Then people will you also hear this from various people, various sales and marketing people, that we work with so many different people. We work in 7 states. We are a global company. This product is from state, everything. Why? Because nobody wants to be the first one. In marketing, the biggest problem is that in selling, everybody wants discount. Everybody wants to have the maximum share. To marketing, people only listen to you, but they don't want to be the first person buying that product. Nobody wants to buy the first product if you are not an Apple business. If you are in an Apple, people want to have the first sale. They want to be the first priority customer, but not when you are a new company. So in new company, the ground rule is try to do the first sale. These are some basic rules that I have identified. But anyways, I will skip that. I will give you a couple of case studies to understand. How many of you actually are willing to start your career in sales and marketing? Because if I'm going to give you 2 cases to understand, then I should be knowing that whether it is just another series for you or you are seriously thinking of sales and marketing. I would like to have some responses on the chat box, please. Anybody there? How many of you wants to have your career in sales and marketing? Anyone or no one? No response? An answer? An
Yes,
answer?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Of this particular group. So they are all from sales marketing, or this is just an activity for them. How is it? Sir?
Yes, sir. I'm having some network issues, sir. Yes, sir.
What I was trying to ask you is that how many of this particular batch has taken sales and marketing?
Sir, from first year, 28 students are there,
Okay.
and from second year, 26 are there.
currently right now sitting in this particular call, web call?
Around 35 to 40 students are there, sir.
Okay.
They are from marketing
Okay, fine.
specialization. And most of them are from first semester, sir. Second semester.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Second semester.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
No, it doesn't matter because I'm discussing only a few, and because now 10 minutes are left. In 10 minutes, I'll
Yes,
give
sir.
them flat two cases to understand, which will give them a
Yes,
fair
sir.
idea of how they do the things.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir. Please.
boys and girls, so boys, I will be giving you two cases. Is a very good, decent job. My BFSI is a segment where incentives and increments are very good. But more than anything else, for sales and marketing people, you end up doing selling of mutual funds, loans, different activities. The important factor sitting over here is that if you are trying to sell this, it's a very good paying source, very, what you can say, never ending kind of a business because people are tax issues and everything. This is a never ending business, but it's a case of B2C. Direct to the customer, you will be discussing business to customer on a regular basis. And the kind of relationships that you build is going to take you on a longer journey. I'll give you one case over here that I had one insurance agent who used to come to me, try to do everything, never convinced with him. Never convinced with him. I was a youngster, came out of the college, and I was like, why should I invest? Why should I invest? I was not. 1.5 years down the line, I met another person. He was slightly senior. He came, he gave me his card, and we just started chatting for a cup of nothing else. He had come to my office, we took a coffee, we just started chatting, and he started telling me about all his stories and everything. Very, very slow. Oh, thank you so much, sir, for giving me the coffee. You know, the last place where I went, there was a problem like this, but you seem to have developed this, you have developed that. And he was 10 seconds. After 5 minutes, we were comfortable with each other. Till now, in the last 15, 20 years, that person. Because he gave me the confidence that he's just the right person to handle this. In B2C segment, it is very important that you develop your trust first. The product comes later. The product is coming very late inside the chain. Anybody going to FMCG, it is different. Understand this. You have to develop your personality first. You have to work on developing the trust on you first. The sales comes later. And that communication and self-confidence, knowing about your product segment, having a fair idea of where you are going, who the customer is, whom having a look at his or her LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, trying to understand what he or she does before meeting him, what we call it doing work. Any kind of B2C business, tomorrow you might be thinking of owning a startup. You might be having thinking of maybe doing an agri-tech, going to farmers, B2C, trying to MR business, B2C, trying to work on some applications, B2C, catering industry, B2C. All these are is very important. Owning a cafe, starting a food joint, B2C. All these are B2C. If you talk of Olas and Ubers all the world, every single day, an application from maybe Food Panda or Zomato, it's B2C because he is interacting directly with that person. His phone, his communication, everything matters. Every single time it matters. Marketing changes, sales changes, but every single time the person there matters. B2C, it is very important that you build your trust. You make sure your customer is comfortable talking to you. You have that particular attraction that you can create that the person is happy with in B2C. In B2B, It requires a lot of homework. If you are thinking of a startup that goes from business to business, it requires to a larger extent. You can try this activity of any case, or if you want any support, I can come back. You can come back to me. We can have a small discussion on this one. Let's say you have a product, like I told you that example of DY Patel. It's a business to business. You have a try this, bring something, and come back and try to sell this to your own college. See the kind of questions that come back to you. See the kind of responses that you get. Project is not going to blame you for that, for any losses, but try this once. If you are supposed to do this to DY Patil, Bharti, or any college for that matter, or any industry for that matter, you have industrial belt in Dhairi, industrial belt in Ambegaon, industrial belt on Satara Road. If you sell over there, person is involved, getting to the correct person, making sure the things happen, and you are able to speak about your product in a very, very confident, crisp manner. That's what is far more superior than B2C. Because in B2B, advertising never works. B2C advertising works. FMCG, any product that you see on the daily needs Kirana store shop, they work on advertising. They do not work on that. They work through distributors and retailers. Their advertising plays a major role. In B2B business, you are responsible for whatever selling you are doing. So in that case, once you visit a big client, you have to understand the kind of homework that is required, the kind of knowledge you need to have about your products, about your company. And that is where the structure starts. So I have given you some basic ideas of whatever I have learned and what I thought could be important for you. The PPT is already there with sir. You can read anytime you want. Sir, it is open for sharing, not a problem from my side. You can definitely use it for sharing to any of your students.
Thanks a lot, sir.
And yeah, and if they have any questions, like I told you, particularly on sales and marketing, then I'll be more than happy to answer them. Later on also, if they have any queries regard to that one, we can surely have a discussion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Should we close?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, students, and thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Yes, just a moment, sir. I'll propose
Yes,
the
sir.
vote of thanks and then we will close the session, sir. Thank you very much, Rahul, sir. I, Dr. Anand Kadare, on behalf of Matrix School of Management Studies, would like to thank our guest of honor, Mr. Rahul Joshi, for accepting our invitation and sparing his valuable time with our students and sharing hands-on practical experience in the field of marketing and sales with the students. The session was really informative and very knowledgeable. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Students, now we have come to the conclusion and formally we will close the session. You can leave the meeting. And before leaving the session, all the students are requested to go to the chat box and click on the link and fill the feedback form. We have posted the link of feedback form for today's session in the chat box. Please go to the chat box, click on the link and fill the feedback form. It will hardly take a minute or so, and then you can leave.